Have you been trying to actually make progress in your life? Maybe have a better relationship, maybe have better finances, maybe, well, get the career that you love? It doesn't have to be super complicated. And in this video, I'm gonna give you the 3 steps that I personally followed to go from stuck to unstoppable in my life, and I wanna share them with you today, so stay tuned. All right, as I've already mentioned, it doesn't have to be complicated. Far too many times we get lost in the complicated world. Well, we forget that keep it simple, stupid is actually a thing. While I don't consider you stupid or consider myself stupid, what I do think is that we all get stuck sometimes making things way overly complex. And what I've learned with all the content that we provide is really I can sum everything that we teach, everything you need to do, everything you need to have to make progress into 3 simple areas. And these 3 simple areas, with the right focus, with the right intentions, and with the right actions, can change everything. All right, so let's break down these 3 areas so you can finally begin to start making progress. Area number 1 is this: making sure that you understand what drives you. So I'm not gonna try to make it sweet too much, but drives you. Now here's what I mean by drives you. Most people are completely unaware of themselves. They don't know their strengths, they don't know their struggles, and they don't know their blind spots. Nor are they paying any attention to discovering any of those things. And one of the things you'll find with the top 1% in the world is, or top athletes, or top CEOs, or authors, or speakers, or anything like that, is one of the things that they're very gifted at, one of the pieces of work and attention they've done is understanding what makes them them. They're very clear on what makes them unique. So some of the areas that kind of break off of this are comfort zones, right? What comfort zone is maybe holding you back? What little step of faith are you not taking? What activity are you not taking, okay? Another area is their overall personality style, okay? Personality styles, whoops, we're gonna get there eventually. Personality styles have everything to do with your tendencies, your triggers, the way you communicate, the things that you're gifted at, meaning, so I'm a high D, and if you haven't checked out some of our lessons on DISC, I invite you to go do that. One of the things you know about high Ds is they're very driven, okay? I can work for long extended periods of time, long hours, and make things happen and results. Now conversely, the high C type personality styles can be a lot more analytical and be a lot more detail oriented, something I'm not really great at, okay? So you can see how your personality style could impact your overall performance just in that one piece. Another piece is the value systems, okay? Now your value systems have more to do with your overall motivation on why you take action and how you receive meaning, how you receive significance. For example, one of the value systems that we've done a whiteboard lesson on previously is what's known as a high economic. High economics are very, very demanding of themselves, right? They're very competitive. They want a return on investment for everything, right? That's one example. Now take one of the other styles that we've talked about before in previous lessons called the high altruist. A high altruist is all about how much they can give. And when they're able to give, they feel and get value, so they're motivated to do it again, okay? So that's another example. Now, as we continue to move around the wheel, we're also gonna talk about other tendencies. Now, you can also find some of those tendencies inside the DISC, but you can also find them inside of your attributes, what we call the attribute index, all right? It has everything to do with your overall emotional intelligence, because your tendencies to take action also break into your emotional intelligence, all right? So that's another piece, is the emotional intelligence. All right, emotional intel. Now we've covered that one in a whiteboard lesson before that you can find here on the playlist. Emotional intelligence is how you regulate yourself and how you regulate dealing with others and your maturity in doing so, all right? Now, step 2 of the process is just as powerful as step 1, all right? But you have to have step 1 anchored first to move to step 2. Step 2 is create a plan. Create a plan. Imagine if you were to go build a house for the first time. How are you going to do it? You need a plan. You need to know that you need to clear the lot. You need to know that you need to dig a footing. You need to know that you need to pour a footing. And then you put the block on the footing to create the foundation. And then you start the framing process. And then you put the windows in. And then you put the roof on. And then you put all the exterior stuff on in order to make it pretty, right? You cannot build your life without a similar plan. You have to know where in your life you need to clear the land. You have to know where in your life you need to dig a footing. You need to know where in your life you've got to have a foundation. Because without a foundation, you can't build a massive structure, whether it's a house or for some of you, a skyscraper. You get me? So many of you are going to be focused on working towards getting to a level of excellence that you can't even imagine. But the only way you get there is by creating the plan, right? So let's talk about some of the things in the plan. We need to have an objective, right? Where are we trying to go, right? We need to have a strategy, okay? And to make it easier, again, dyslexic, so if you pick out my spelling mistakes, I don't want to see that in the comments. Actually, you can do it for fun. Just do it for fun. All right? Objective leads to strategies. Strategies dictate what actions we need to take. Okay, so there's your actions. I added the I, right? After you take your actions, you want to reinforce your actions with a routine to keep you moving forward. And after you get the routine down, you start getting results. You get the results. You know what you need to do next. Do you need to pivot? Do you need to keep going? What is the next step evolution in the process? All right? That takes us to what I refer to as the ultimate step, which is step 3. Now, again, you got to follow these in order, and I'll explain why in a second. But step 3 is create strategic. You know I like the word strategic, right? I always spell it wrong, but I do like the word strategic. And the reason being is because it's intentional. Right? You can't create a strategy without intentional. And this particular one is strategic relationships. Why is that important? The reason it's important is because for far too long, I was held back more, not by my willingness to succeed, not by my willingness to grow, not by my willingness to make sure that I'm not following a plan, but because the people I associated my life with were simply not going where I wanted to go. Which also meant when I would tell them, hey, I want to go do this, I want to become this, I want to do this, they were like, are you crazy? Nobody could do that. You can't do that. You don't need naysayers surrounding you when you're trying to build a life you love. What you do need is you need relationships that want to help you create the life that you love. All right? So here are a couple of them that we needed. So first of all, we're going to need mentors. Okay, now we did an entire podcast and lesson on the mentorship matrix, so make sure you check that out. That's the type of mentors that you can go and pull into your life. But you need someone along the way who's already been where you're trying to go that can help you lay out the routines, the actions, the strategies, and the objectives to get you there. Okay? That way you're not having to pull it out of your hip or you're trying to figure it out on your own. What you're trying to do instead is you're trying to get to a place where you can actually understand how they got there, and then all you got to do is step in the footprints, all right? Other thing, accountability partners, okay? You need people holding you accountable. So if your goal is to go lose weight and you don't go to the gym, you need to have someone that can say, hey, remember your goal? Remember your objective? Remember your outcome you're trying to achieve? Well, you didn't hit the gym yesterday. Let's make sure we do it tomorrow, right? Not in a judging, condemning way, but in a very firm and respectful, loving way, right? So, mentors, accountability partners, and most of all, you need yourself. Now, when I'm talking about yourself, I'm talking about what you say to yourself. Now, when we look at ourselves, it comes down to who do we see in the mirror? What are we saying to ourselves in the mirror? And more importantly, what are we saying to ourselves when nobody's looking? What happens when all of a sudden you hit a roadblock or something you have to go through, around, or over? What do you say to yourself in that moment? What you say to yourself will define whether or not you achieve something over top of that, which means you have to have a strong reason why you are worth it. And I'm already going to tell you what was told to me a long time ago. You are worth it, and you need to dig deep to make things happen, right? Why? Because life's too short. You need to reclaim your hope and make sure you keep moving forward. Why? Because it's possible. It's totally possible. And I want to see you, hope you do that. All right. That's all the time we have for today. Hit these 3 things really hard. Get some growth, get some information, and if you need more, we got plenty. Come on back, and I'll see you in the next video.
Hey, it's Connor with The Journey Principles. If you enjoyed this lesson about the big 3, I highly recommend you check out our free ebooks where we break down each of these 3 concepts a little bit more. You can check out the description for each of those links. Also, do us a favor and like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.